I hate to break the fishing news up, Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down,
Yep.
All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Episode 256 of the Real Life Podcast. Hello, I'm Tyler Yaremchuk. Thanks for downloading. Thanks for subscribing. And welcome in. The Oilers tonight are going to play their first game in like 3 days, which is incredibly embarrassing for the NHL because it was Hockey Day in Canada on Saturday. McDavid didn't play. We got into that a little bit last week, but there's a lot to get to today. First, though, need to give some love to our friends at Oodle Noodle. Check them out. 14 locations in Edmonton, and Oodle Noodle also has this what's the deal? I saw it on Twitter, and now it slipped away from my tweet deck.
Is it the family pack, Tyler?
Yeah, the family pack. Here you go. I got it. You get 2 regular boxes of nudes, 2 kids boxes, 2 pops, 2 juice boxes, and 4 spring rolls for just $35.95. That is incredible. That is a great deal. If I had kids, I'd do it.
Value for you, Jay will teach your kid fractions.
That's true.
That's interesting.
What's your guys' go-to way of getting your Oodle Noodle? Do you go pick it up? Does Oodle Noodle delivers personally to a lot of areas in the city, do they not?
Everywhere you need.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm really, you know what? Sorry, you're triggering a rant. We order food every Friday and Saturday nights because we just.
Well, la-dee-da, Mr. G.
Yeah, holy.
Yeah, just.
Wow, come on. We don't get like.
In this economy? Good Lord. Chalmers.
The old lady does all right, eh, Charles?
We don't go to restaurants. We don't spend money on anything else. We don't do all these things with the kids we used to do. We got extra money for a little, and that's like a one thing we can do during the week where it's like we don't have to do any work for it. So yeah, we've just allocated funds that would have been somewhere else to this. But we have the restaurants that we like, and I am like, there's certain food services that like deliver. Does everybody have like their favorite, the go-to one? Basically, if the restaurant's not on that one, you won't get it. Because I am a skip the dishes man. The site is perfect. I've never ever had one problem. Okay, but there was.
Do you have an example of what you're talking about in terms of just a restaurant? You're like what do you mean? Because I feel like I might be with you, but I'm not sure.
So Seps is a pizza place, and it is not on skip the dishes anymore. And only on Friday nights, they are not on skip the dishes. They've gone strictly with Uber Eats for Friday nights. I will not order it on Friday nights now, unless I go pick it up myself, because I want to use skip the dishes. I've had no problems with them. I love them. DoorDash, they're good. I don't use them as much because everything that's on skip is on DoorDash. But we decided that we really wanted a certain restaurant in Edmonton that is a supporter of the nation, and it's a great restaurant. It's one of my favorites, but they are not on skip the dishes. So
is it Oodle Noodle?
It is not. It is not.
Pie?
No, it's what's northern in French?
Northern chicken.
No.
What's northern in French?
Nord.
So it's le chicken de Nord.
Why don't you want to say
Le poulet Nord.
I don't know. I do. Northern chicken. They're great. The guy didn't advertise. The guy did an
I see. He
on
doesn't pay the
Global
shit. Yeah, fair enough.
with an Oilers Nation hat and an Oilers Nation hoodie on. Yeah. So anyways, big supporter. Great place. Make awesome food. We really wanted Northern chicken, but they are only on Uber Eats. So I hate Uber Eats because the very first time I ever did it, I found like a $22 service charge for no reason. They had zero reason for it after the fact. After the order, a separate charge. So I deleted them. I didn't like it. I didn't like being hoodwinked like that.
Yeah.
I only use Uber Eats.
I'm going to guess it had to do with your Uber score, Chalmers. They didn't trust it.
Probably. But here's
if anybody with less than a 1-star score tries to order food at a $22 charge.
So here's the real problem. Friday night, we make our order. Our order is around $80. And I go to the confirm after the tip screen, and literally with just my thumb hovering over confirm, it confirms it and orders it right as my wife is saying, did you get this? And I was like, no, shoot. Okay. So I canceled the order immediately. Again, it goes to a confirm screen. I can hardly see what it says, but because my thumb's hovering, it confirms the cancel.
Hold on. You just had a double.
Yeah, buddy. I swear to God. Like I'm not a fat fingered phone idiot. I
don't know if you know how to fucking confirm shit. You might have to do some lessons on how to press buttons.
Dude, I don't know. Okay. But what it was telling me that I confirmed to was that I would still be charged for the food in the cancellation fee.
What?
$80 cancellation fee. So I get like a notice saying I have to pay. And that I get this notice on email that says like the restaurant had been notified. They had already started preparing your food. You will be charged for this money. And I'm like, it's been literally 15 seconds. Like, there's no way. So I called them, Northern Chicken, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not using Uber Eats. I'm just going to come pick it up. We really want your food. So I'm going to make this order. Now, do you see a canceled order there? They're like, yeah. I go, did you just didn't even get that. They're like, no, it's been canceled. And I said, okay, well, Uber Eats is trying to charge me for it. Do you have anything to do with that? They say no. So okay, good. So I go to Uber Eats help. $80. I'm obviously going to go to support and find out what the hell's going on. Yeah. So I simply say it's not one of the categories. So I have to do other as a problem. I was charged for a cancellation, and the lady texts back. The lady sends an email back on Uber Eats support. We are sorry, but there is nothing you can do. They started making the food. We're sorry, but here's $20 for your next 2 free. And I'm like, no. And I get rate your support. So I'm like, no, support was bad. Like, it was really, really bad. So I kind of make a sniff or a stink. About an hour and a half later, they go, look, we don't normally do this, but we're going to give you your money back. But like, honestly, man, that's twice I've used Uber Eats, and that's twice if you want to skip the dishes, if you want to cancel something, cancel it. They don't care. They don't charge you anything. Like, I don't know if they just eat the costs. I don't know, but I have literally canceled stuff there. So there's my rant. I hate Uber Eats. Can't stand them.
Anyways, at Oodle Noodle, all in-store and curbside pickups get 10% proceeds go to local charities.
Worth noting, Chalmers, Skip the Dishes is one of the cornerstone advertising partners of the Nation Network, and we think they're great.
They are. They're fantastic. They're the best. Honestly, they're the best. If you're not on Skip the Dishes from now on, I guess I'm going for a drive.
And worth mentioning, all 14 locations of Oodle Noodle are exclusively with Skip the Dishes.
And to
answer the question, Chalmers, I live right between 2 Oodle Noodles on the West End and the Hamptons location. So I could either drive to I'm equidistant to both of those, or I get our friends at Skip the Dishes to bring it to me. I got all the options in the world.
And if you're listening to this and you're from Northern Chicken, we do love you. We just don't love you. We're a Skip the Dishes podcast.
It's also worth noting that Northern Chicken is, in fact, an advertiser with the Nation as well, and we think they're fantastic.
I went through all
excellent
of this.
Chicken.
I went through all of this just so I could eat Northern Chicken. Like, yeah, I love it. Like, it's fantastic.
Or Le Poulet, as you were going to call it.
Chalmers, you ever go to Yeg Burger?
I have been there a couple times. Yeah, I haven't had it in a long time, though.
Delicioso.
Their buttermilk chicken sandwich is ridiculous good.
Yeah, when you told me they were becoming a sponsor, I got it the next day.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Good man.
Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago, something like that.
At our last
Oilers
golf tournament,
Nation, where we'll send everyone who works with us within 24 hours of signing a deal.
At our last golf tournament, Yeg Burger was a whole sponsor, and I think I went and saw Emad probably 4 times during the day. It's the best.
I've only met Emad, I think 3 or 4 times. Sponsor of my pregame podcast, available every Oilers game day. 15 minutes or less gives you everything you need for that night's game. I've only met Emad 3 times, but I feel like I've eaten Yeg Burger so much, and it's so good that me and him are best friends because of it. I love Yeg Burger.
He's a real nice guy.
Yeah, beauty. All right, so a handful of topics to get to. Ranting about fast food delivery.
That was the longest Oodle Noodle ad of all time.
It was an Oodle Noodle ad that mentioned 4 different restaurants.
Yeah. It's a good thing like Jay's not here.
Oh, yeah? Do you ever eat Northern Chicken? Oh, you do? What about Yeg Burger? Ever go there?
Ever heard of Seps?
All over the road.
To Skip the Dishes, bring food to Lacombe. That way we can interest Jay.
All right. We got a handful of things that I want to get to. Like I said, going to do a listener profile, going to introduce our audience to a new podcast partner. We have a new ad partner, and it's exciting. I was doing some research on this one, and the deal we're offering is great. I'll get to that in just a bit. But first, Chalmers, you brought this to my attention. I'm calling her Trophy Lady, but her name is Lorraine, and she says that Tom Brady's trophy toss is insulting to her family's legacy because she's the daughter of the master silversmith who crafted the very first Lombardi Trophy. So I have my Bluetooth pulled up. I'm going to ask that everyone be quiet while I play this video for the audience. Here is Lorraine who is mad at Tom Brady for throwing the Lombardi Trophy from one boat to the other during the Bucs parade.
And it takes a lot of work, a lot of hard work, a lot of hours go into it. It just really upset me that this trophy was disgraced and disrespected by being thrown as if it was a real football. I didn't sleep for the past 2 nights because of this. I was that upset because I know the passion that goes into this trophy and how my dad and all his fellow silversmiths are so proud to make this. I personally would like an apology, not just to me and my family and the other silversmiths, but to the fans.
That was fucking great. I had not watched it before now. That's unbelievable that she goes that far.
She may as well hold a neon sign above her head that says, "Pay attention to me," because that was pathetic.
I feel like this woman has zero idea how the internet works, because if she did, she would have never done this, because all Saturday night she was trending for saying that she had two, not one, two sleepless nights due to the fact that they had disrespected and disgraced her father's trophy. A trophy which has been, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but that trophy seems to be everywhere. There isn't just one of them. But this lady, first of all, in the video, she's at home, and I'm sorry, but if you're doing an interview, which is like going to be your 50 minutes of fame, maybe go to a separate room from where the kids are yelling and having a good time. Okay. Like, come on, Lorraine. Number one.
And I would also suggest to Lorraine, maybe don't Google what pro athletes do with trophies. Just,
oh my God. Could you imagine if her dad made the Stanley Cup?
Yeah. Just maybe don't look up what pro athletes tend to do when they win a trophy.
2 years ago, when Rob Gronkowski had the trophy, he used it as a baseball bat to make contact with a baseball and put a huge dent in the top of it. Well, Lorraine, where the hell were you with that one? This is Tom Brady doing it, a 7-time. Yeah, Packers and Steelers have both won it 6 times. Or sorry, Patriots and Packers. No, Patriots and Steelers, both 6 times. He's won it 7. Lorraine, at this point, he can do whatever the fuck he wants with your dad's trophy.
I don't mean to sound crude, but Tom Brady could literally piss on the Lombardi Trophy, and it is completely within his right at this point. That's what fucking, like you said, imagine if she found out what they do to the Stanley Cup, man. Like, it's a professional trophy. You know how many like strippers and stuff have probably held on to these trophies? Like, what are we doing here? Like,
have you ever seen what football players, Lorraine, do to their bodies to try to win that trophy?
Yeah, I don't think the hardest thing about the Lombardi Trophy, the most effort wasn't making the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah. He's gone out of it. He's got like, however many seasons he's played to win it 7 times, put his body on the line, and he's not allowed to toss. And now, if somebody's going to toss it to somebody else, wouldn't you prefer it to be Tom fucking Brady?
The most qualified quarterback on earth to pinpoint throw it?
Okay, did anybody else? If I know you guys you wouldn't know this, but in the video, there's Rob Gronkowski. So there's 2 tight ends on every team, and Cameron Brate for the whole season has been like Tom Brady's go-to tight end, except for in the Super Bowl where Rob Gronkowski caught the 2 touchdowns. And Cameron Brate's like just automatic. And in this clip, Cameron Brate catches it over top of of Rob Gronkowski. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And no, Lorraine, the fans, like you say at the end of the video, they are not feeling disrespected by this. It's the video that went viral because people loved it. Lorraine.
Yeah.
Lorraine, you have set the silversmith industry back 20 years with this rant.
One thing, I always like to update during the podcast on what's going on at my apartment complex or condominium here. We have a skip the dishes driver going right now, which is great to see. Also, smoking grandma, she is back, but it's kind of like Groundhog Day. It is still too cold out to be smoking on the actual deck. So she is pressing her mouth up against the screen and blowing it out the screen again.
She cannot wait till tomorrow when she gets to step outside, I bet, eh?
Yeah, 100%. Her little chair that she is out right now is still covered in snow, but she'll dust that thing off tomorrow. Maybe she needs to wait for it to melt, but smoking grandma's back. Great to see. Missed her. Also, Wanye, you said you were reading like the drunk Tom Brady thing. I thought that was the funniest fucking thing. Like this dude stumbling around. He looked like me trying to leave the Oilers Nation golf tournament the last time I did it. But you read that that may have been a PR stunt. Wanye? Oh, okay. So Wanye may have, he's putting in his headphones right now. I don't think he can hear me. Wanye may have read that Tom Brady is launching a brand of like avocado tequila or something like that, and may have acted drunk so that he could send out the tweet saying that I was drinking too much avocado tequila to get more people talking about his avocado tequila. I'm not sure if I buy that. That looked like some pretty, like, that's a guy who I think probably doesn't touch alcohol throughout the season. And it was probably hot. You're on the water. You have like 4 or 5 beers and you're like, whoo boy, I am drunk.
However,
so I'm going to give, go ahead, Big Milk.
I just want to follow it down the rabbit hole for a second. Let's just say that this theory is correct. Could there be better promo for a new tequila company than having the biggest star on earth stumbling around to tweet nothing to see her, just a little avocado tequila, and it got retweeted 121,000 times.
Okay, and my point too, with going back and forth and looking at the evidence here, in the tweet, it looks like it's orchestrated with a capital T in avocado, or a capital T in the middle of avocado tequila with another capital. The tweet looks very suspicious. But here's the other thing. Drunk Tom Brady's handlers, he's never been spotted like this in his life. You would think that if he was going to have to go from a boat to somewhere else, that they could find an alternate route than through a bunch of people where obviously media had gathered, knowing that they were coming off. Number one. But the other side of that is, if you see Tom Brady doing some of his, Instagram stories or something on the boat with other people, he looks lit as AF. He looks messed up. And so I don't know where I fall on this one. Either if it's all true and he got drunk and they were like, get drunk, walk through here, have a good time, and then tweet out the avocado tequila thing, like it's genius from beginning to end.
Wanye, your take?
I think this shit's faker than anything I've ever seen. I think right now Giselle's PR geniuses are telling old Thomas, we're going to get this avocado tequila off the ground. We need you to celebrate visually and be Tom Brady's the best celebrator ever. And then this is going to launch the tequila. It's genius.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he may have actually just gotten a little bit too lit, but I can
read it on my
definitely see
celebrity.
it.
Sorry to interrupt you, Ramcheck, but I have to. My supporting evidence is this crazy celebrity site only Baggedmilk and I read.
It is.
And they said there was people with him 5 minutes before he left that party, and he was completely fine.
Did you see the trifecta of guys who have their own branded alcohol? And they did a funny video where it was like, from the makers of, and it's like Diddy's tequila, Ryan Reynolds gin, and David Beckham's whatever he has, tequila. We're going to put together the ultimate drink. And then they mix it. And it's like them in the clouds. And then they all individually have a sip. And then the music like just stops and they spit out. They're like, that's disgusting, Ryan. We can't do that. And it's like all 3 of them.
Was that a Super Bowl ad?
No, I don't even know. It was like out before the Super Bowl. It was fantastic though.
Yeah, no, I'd never heard that.
All I know is if that's the way you have to endorse booze in 2021, I'm going to wrap the Wanye mobile around a pole and fall out in a completely staged accident surrounded by Nation beer cans. And they'll be like, was this guy drunk? And then I'll reveal that I'm stone sober and it's a marketing stunt.
All I could think about, for me, it would be very on brand if Tyler was walking me out of the pint like that after a couple of crisp Nation pops, going over for a donair, 2 a.m.
That's what I was thinking, Wanye. Like you being escorted by security out of Rogers Place while like carrying empties of Nation beer. Like you somehow got them into the building and then drank them too much. And that's the PR stunt I'm imagining here.
The entire thing's a ruse.
A massive ruse. All right. We got a new advertising partner here on the Real Life Podcast.
I'm honestly excited to hear. I didn't even know this happened. I'm excited as everybody to hear this.
You've heard of them. You may have not used their products, but you definitely know this company. Manscaped.
Is it a brand of mask?
No, get out of here. Do we get free Manscaped stuff? I want to trim these beans, Tyler.
What is Manscaped?
Oh,
I mean, I know what manscaping is.
Thank you for asking, Wanye. They are a premium men's a grooming company. I was trying to use the right word there. But they got a ton of great products. Here's the deal. I'm just going to lay this out. Everyone needs to let me get off a good ad read here because this is something people will like. You go to manscaped.com. At the top, change it to Canada so you get Canadian pricing. And then you go down and they have this whole package out right now. It's called the Performance Package. In this package, you get the Lawnmower 3.0. It has their skin safe technology. It's an electric trimmer, perfect for cleaning up whatever part of your body you need to clean up. So that's number one. Then you get the Crop Preserver, anti-chafing ball deodorant. Then you get the Crop Reviver, the ball toner and refresher. And then they hit you up with a set of magic mats, which are disposable shaving mats. You stand on top of them, you clean up your area. Bang.
Now that is something I can fucking get behind as a man covered in hair from tip to toe.
I'm not
hair trapping technology.
I'm not done yet. You also get the Weed Whacker, which is an ear and nose hair trimmer.
Unneeded at the Wanye household.
On top of that, you get a travel bag, which they value at $50, and a pair of their Manscaped boxers. So go to their website and you'll see that this is regular $295, but right now it's marked down to $160. That's before shipping. But if you use the promo code REALLIFE, you will save an extra $35 on this bad boy. So that means we're taking it just for you from $295 all the way down to $127, and you get free shipping for all of these products. All you need to do is use the promo code REALLIFE, and you are getting like 60% off this entire package. Start grooming better, start feeling better. Manscaped.com, Real Life. That's the code, 20% off. Let's go.
That's amazing, because you know what? I didn't know this was coming either. And Manscaped advertises on some huge podcasts.
Huge podcasts.
Guess we're a huge podcast.
The promo code.
I listen to all these podcasts with like some major comedians, Wanye, and Manscaped is like their title sponsor on.
Oh, for real?
For real. It's like, now that they're here, I'm gonna have the smoothest eggs in this city, and I challenge all of you to beat me.
Here's some important things to note. Now, what somebody's going to do that knows how to do it better than I am is they're going to put Real Life promo code Manscaped, promo code Real Life, because every time I go to a website after I've listened to a podcast to try and buy the product, I can't remember the promo code. So I go to their social medias, I go online, I try to find the promo code. Yeah. Sometimes I can't find it. So we are going to put it on our Instagram page in a big block that says promo code Real Life for Manscaped. Now, a couple things that I really like about Manscaped is the products, and like the razors look amazing, but they are waterproof. These razors are waterproof. You can use them in the shower, my man. You can get the nose hair trimmer in the shower, get it done, leave it in there.
Clean up when you're up in the hot tub, Wanye. Just toss a leg up there and groom away.
Fucking right. Well, remember when, I can't remember his name at the moment, but remember the Real Life listener who said, I just moved in with my girlfriend. What is your advice?
Yeah.
Remember how you were all giving him namby-pamby relationship advice about being nice and shit? Remember what I said? I said, make sure you don't neglect your pubic hair maintenance. I said, just because you won and you moved in with a girl doesn't mean it's time to grow a goddamn Reggie Bush. I mean, you gotta, treat yourself. I'm very much involved with this whole scene of proper manscaping. Yeah. So this is great. Thank you, Manscaping.
I feel so much better. I feel so much better after I've done it. Like, just physically, I feel like I'm just like more comfortable. Like I look like I'm in better shape. Like I swear to God, everything that has to do with manscaping is like really, really good.
I find I run faster.
Not to mention, trimming the hedges makes the stump look bigger,
Well, you go to the gym and you look around at all these old men that don't got no game, and you're like, this is why you're not getting any. Because you've let your yard go to hell. You're not gonna win the best gardens in bloom if you don't mow your lawn.
I'll tell you what about getting older too. Bending over doesn't get any easier. So it's nice to be nice to have good razors for that. Keep it up. Mm-hmm. They have guards on these things.
Good Lord.
Like, where you can change the they got to have like, oh yeah, they got guards where you can change how maybe you want to keep it at a number 2. Maybe you don't want to go right down to the Randy Wood on your chest,
Randy Wood.
I love this. That razor we were talking about as well, it's got a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology. This thing has a better engine than my car. So it's good. It's powered with USB charging as well. Super easy to charge up. Gives you 90 minutes of use as well. You can do a lot of shaving in 90 minutes. So check them out. Manscaped.com. The promo code is Real Life. One word, REALLIFE.
If you like to support us, this is the number one way that you can support us, because honestly, with better advertising becomes better podcast because we can do some more stuff with it. And like, this is a real, Baggedmilk is right. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and Manscaped, they've advertised on a lot of them. They sponsor a lot of this stuff. And that's where I think their number one advertising goes to, because, you know, males 18 to 38 or whatever their demographic is, podcasts are hugely popular with people on the go. So this is big for us.
The other thing I like about Manscaped, like the art of advertising, because their demographic is males 18 to whatever, right? Their Instagram ads they have running out right now, which I've been getting nonstop ever since we've started, or ever since I've started getting the emails about this. It's a girl in a bikini standing there, and you're like, this has nothing to do with the product at all. But it's kind of like how one of one of the ESPN shows that's like simulcasted or whatever on TSN 1260 here in town. One of their big partners is 1-800-Flowers, like a flower shop. Because I mean, it makes sense, right? You think flowers, you're kind of like, oh, their demographic should be females, but no, man, to get the attention of men who are buying flowers for females, kind of thing. So advertising, what a thing.
This one's for you, gentlemen. Manscaped.
Yep.
Trim it up, clean up. You fix up, look sharp. As Chalmers
It's honestly the least you can do for your significant other. It's Valentine's Day was yesterday. So you have 364 more days to plan for next Valentine's Day.
Make every day Valentine's Day in your pubic hair regimen. Brought to you by Manscaped.
Thank you, Manscaped.
Thank you,
Something else I want to talk about. We have no new listener reviews up on Apple Podcasts. Yes. So if you have a second and you enjoy this podcast, leave us a review and we will read it verbatim. Whatever you want to put in there. Didn't we have someone who once shouted out their buddy? They're like, hey, shout out to my guy. Yep. So, I mean, do that. Give your friends shout outs. We don't give a shit. Just give us however many stars. We'd prefer 5, obviously. And let us know what you think.
You know what?
Podcast.
I also want to know if you think this is a 1-star podcast. I want to know why. I will read your feedback. We have not got a review on Apple Podcasts on Real Life since mid-December, I'm seeing now. So I need your feedback. I would like it, please. Thank you.
We can take it.
Did you guys see the news story? You guys see the news story about some guy who was like high on some sort of drug standing outside a GameStop screaming?
Yeah, yelling "Game Stonk" for 30 hours straight.
You're not supposed to do that.
No.
Listen, if that isn't a sign to get into GameStop, I don't know what it is.
I bring that up because I want a bit of an update on what's going on in that side of things. Like Baggedmilk, I know you and Wanye can cover this. What is sort of the latest on that whole story? It sort of just faded out of my news cycle, but what ended up happening with that whole thing?
It never went down the end.
It's some people made a lot of money. Some people got fucked. And that's about it.
It went down your check.
Okay. And I keep seeing this new thing, Dogecoin. Is that a legitimate thing?
Dogecoin. Yeah, Dogecoin is a real cryptocurrency. I own some of it, and Elon Musk keeps making me money, and I say thank you, Elon. Please.
So what's happening? Sorry, finish on.
Please keep tweeting about Dogecoin, Elon, and make me more money. Thank you.
The retail investor is getting together with other retail investors and hashing out plays, right? There used to be a website before the .com bust called ragingbull.com. Raging Bull, like the stock market bull. And people would go on there and be like, buy this, buy that. Everything's going to the moon. And right at like the height of ragingbull.com, the tech market collapsed, right? So now they've gotten together again, this time on Reddit. And I think Wall Street Bets is like a fraction of the traffic that Raging Bull used to get. But people are getting together and making plays again. And GameStop, went up, turned around and went back down. Wall Street hedge funds got fucked, and now they're going to try to bring in regulation to prevent it, but there's nothing illegal going on, I don't think. Baggedmilk?
I just can't, you can't, unless you somehow shut down people's ability to converse freely on the internet, as is Reddit, subreddits like Wall Street Bets, you cannot prevent people from collectively buying a stock together if they choose to. And especially with the ease of things like Robinhood and Wealthsimple and all these other retail trading platforms, it just creates an environment where more of this is going to happen, not less.
Well, they made Robinhood shut down, right? Certain trades. And now people got mad. So now they're going to go to all sorts of different Robinhood-esque apps. It's going to get harder and harder to control.
I just think that you can't stop a Wall Street Bets type community from rallying and pooling money on something. No matter what, if people are free to talk, they can do it. If they see like GameStop, the reason it worked is it was so heavily shorted and they put the squeeze in and it worked kind of, provided where you were in the buy cycle. So to answer your question, some people made a lot of money.
Sorry.
Some
So
people
then
got fucked.
Dogecoin. Dogecoin there's all sorts of different cryptocurrencies that are out there.
Yep.
And Elon promoted it, and supposedly Tesla's buying some as a hedge against inflation.
Yeah. So Tesla bought $1.5 billion with a B of Bitcoin. So that also shot the price of Bitcoin up 23% in a single day.
Bitcoin or Dogecoin?
Bitcoin. Tesla
What's Bitcoin trading at now?
It's trading roughly right now. It's at 61,000 Canadian as we're recording.
Okay.
So as Tesla announced that they had invested that much money in Bitcoin, it shot the moon. Meanwhile, Elon on his personal Twitter account is shouting out Dogecoin, which is an alternate. Dogecoin to give you some context, Tyler, was created as a joke. It was created by two programmers that just said, let's have this alternate crypto that we don't ever expect to do anything as a form of people just tipping each other. People were tipping each other with Dogecoin as like, I like your take. Here's some Dogecoin. Thank you. That cost
valueless.
It was valueless. Say 5 years ago, you could have bought 1 million Dogecoin for, I'm guessing my math is going to be incorrect. So if you're listening to this, fuck off. But it's like $200, you could have got a shitload. But if you had held it for 5 years, that $200 or 2 million Dogecoin would have turned into $150,000 US. So now these retailer investors are throwing in on this joke coin and actually turning it legitimate. And you have somebody like Elon Musk tweeting about it that keeps inflating the value. And now this coin that was a fraction of a cent 4 years ago is hovering around 7-8 cents US. And their goal is to push it to $1, then to $5 if you follow.
So among this subset of people who are retail investors, right? They're trading their own money. There's like a hilarious subset of people who've gotten rich off Bitcoin. Very few, but some. And some people got rich off GameStop, right? But there's a lot of people who pretend to be in this crowd, we'll say, right? But amongst them, their king of them, their patron saint is Elon, who not only knows to call GameStop GameStonk, but also knows to shout out Dogecoin. It's so funny because it's like the king of the trolls is the richest man in the world.
Well, yeah. And like I said, I'm not saying anywhere close to me getting rich off Dogecoin, but Elon has made me a nice chunk of change over the last couple of weeks tweeting about Dogecoin because it's very volatile and it's.
Did you even buy Dogecoin? Did you have to buy it through your toaster?
Yes. I sent
What appliance did you use? Did you did you fax a website? How do you buy?
I faxed my toaster, which then relayed the information to my fridge, which sent it up into the space.
But really, do you have a crypto wallet? How does it work?
I have several crypto wallets and they're all over.
And there you go.
So yes, you can purchase them several different ways. Yes.
There is your update on the stock market.
Cash money.
Hey, this is
We
a great
should
show.
get like Quest Trade or whatever to sponsor a segment where just for 5-6 minutes, we just let you guys go off on what's going on the stock market.
We
That'd
want
be
to,
a great idea.
Who's the official platform of idiots?
By the way, I should just say, because last time we talked about this, a lot of people were DMing me where I buy and trade and shit. Don't ask me for advice. Do not. You will lose money. I promise you. Stop. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't think they were
only
asking you for
surefire way-
advice. They were asking you where you do it.
If you want to get rich, here's what you got to do. Get hit by a city bus. Any municipality or city, you get hit, you got a proven fracture, $5,000 settlement out of court. Boom.
I
If
used
you
to play.
can find a wet floor at Walmart, that is ideal. You're going to have to do a header, and this one's going to cost you. This one's going to hurt. But if you do it correctly, the Walton family will pay you. I promise.
I knew a kid who I played baseball with growing up who went on a trip to Hawaii when we were we would have been 11 or something, 10. And he got hit by a bus while he was there. And I think he ended up getting a settlement or something. And he got money when he turned 18 or some shit. I don't know that for sure. That was just the rumors that he got money from it.
Did you see him in a new Jeep Grand Cherokee when he turned 18?
He got a brand new Fiero and everybody was pumped up.
Master P, sorry to finish this. Master P claims that the money for No Limit Records was because his brother got hit or his cousin got hit by a bus, Chalmers, in New Orleans. How'd you get the money? Brother got hit by a bus. Really? It wasn't drug dealing, Master P? No, it was a bus injury settlement. Uh-huh.
Fair enough.
What are you fucking not paying attention? You're on this podcast. You're doing two things at once.
Listen, Master P got his money from a bus.
Wow. So you have no comical tales of people being hit by a bus in a lucrative situation to share with the class? Very well.
I was looking at
Chalmers is looking at Stonks right now. I can tell.
Yeah, he probably was looking at his crypto stonks.
He's looking at my crypto stock. Can't believe it's already up at 61,000.
Chalmers' hat has been worn in like 12 different positions on this podcast. I was gonna get a screenshot
I like to fiddle
of it.
with my hat a lot. I do it just as just like a thing. I don't know.
Couldn't get a good screenshot off for the social medias. One day, there we go. Yeah, that's a good one,
like
Chalmers.
that one.
There we go. All right, I got some Oilers shit I want to talk about. Actually, before I get into the Oilers stuff, right now while we're recording this, St. Louis and Arizona are playing, and you might be like, "Why do you give a shit about a St. Louis Arizona game that's taking place at 2:00 in the afternoon?" But it's
Game 7, baby.
Game 7. This is the 7th straight game that these two teams have played against each other.
What?
Get out.
And it's 3-3.
It's a true Game 7.
7 games. Oh boy.
Over how long? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. I can check right now. I got
to admit, because of the Canadian division, I have a hard time paying attention to anything else.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. I don't know what the hell's going on. All I know is that they're getting way more games postponed than we are, and that's all I know.
It's like the rest of the league almost doesn't exist to me.
I honestly don't care.
No,
Maybe I don't
it's
even
weird.
like the NHL. All I like is Canadian NHL teams playing each other.
That was a poll question up on Oilers Nation over the weekend, but just to answer the question, the Blues and Coyotes played on February 2nd, February 4th, February 6th, February 8th, the 12th, the 13th, and now today. So 7 straight games in a row. There was games in between there that were just getting canceled, so they just kept bunching up together Blues and Coyotes games, so those teams wouldn't have to just sit idly by. But that's an interesting thing you brought up there, Wanye, of do we actually, should this keep going moving forward? And I know logistically it would never make sense. Like it can never happen, but would you be opposed to it just from a fan perspective? If they said, hey, you know what, going forward, it's the US, it's Canada. We keep them separated until the semifinals. Is that something you could get behind?
Well, Jay, I wish Jay was on the podcast because he and I have laughed many times over how things we think we actually like something similar, but not actually the thing. Like Jay loves the Winter Olympics, right? Chalmers, he knows everything about it. Right?
Love the Winter Olympics, yeah.
All I care about, I don't care if every other athlete in every other sport is disqualified. As long as the men's ice hockey team wins gold, I'm like, what an Olympics, right? I think it's the same for hockey. I think I just really want to be the best team in Canada. Like, just theoretically, I want to win the Stanley Cup. I really just want to make everyone in Canada cry. I have no beef with any other teams.
So when I look at it from a betting perspective, like we've seen these teams so much that I'm having a hard time. Like I know that when you, in theory, the more you watch a team play, the more you should understand how the game is going to go. But like, even for example, tonight, like the fact that the Oilers are the favorite, I don't quite get that. I feel like we have, like, I know we've been playing well, but I feel like the Jets have been playing well too. And we've been kind of playing a lot of Ottawa games, and sure, we played well against Montreal, but so I didn't get that. So it's like harder. I think sometimes when you see a team too much, it's harder to figure it out. Where I wonder if it's for the Oilers to play like a Florida, you know what I mean? Play like a Minnesota kind of thing where you don't know anything and you just go, my heart says the Oilers are going to win, right? Where I don't know. I'm struggling. How about you, Baggedmilk?
I wonder if there's a part of it tonight where Winnipeg just lost to Ottawa in their last game. Plus PLD's not playing tonight either.
So a couple times where I've seen, like, I don't even remember who it was, but they were coming off a loss to a terrible team. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, a team comes back from that. And they were the underdog in the game and they shouldn't have been. But because they'd come off a bad loss, that's what justified them being the underdog. So I put them into a 3-game parlay and they won, and like handily, against a good team. And so like that scares me for tonight, right? Like if this wasn't the Edmonton Oilers playing and I saw the Jets versus the Oilers and I knew that the Jets were a plus, what are they? Plus 10,
they're plus 125.
Like my money says I want to bet on the Jets, like at a plus one. Yeah. So I don't know. It scares me for tonight's game, man. Plus 125 is no joke. That's That's good value. And at Oilers at minus 147. I mean, that's not great value. It's tough to bet on tonight's game if you want the Oilers to win.
If you're just like, I wrote the GDB today because Gregor was away, but looking through the numbers for the Jets too, they score in bunches from their top 9. Again, losing Dubois hurts, but they still score from their top 9. They don't allow many goals. They're penalized. They're one of the least penalized teams in the NHL at this point. So it's going to be, this is a tough matchup for the Oilers. The Oilers are going to have to score on 5-on-5, or they're going to have to take advantage of limited power play chances if they get them.
Do you think this line at all is being affected by how good Mike Smith has been? And the fact that he is, well, he's expected. It doesn't say confirmed, but expected he's usually
he's going to start tonight. But yeah, what have you guys thought about this? Because I did not see this at all coming from Mike Smith. And I think at some point it's going to even out. Like, he'll go through a rough stretch and they'll have to go back to Mikko Koskinen. But for now, you ride this wave as long as you can. And it has been like refreshing, almost like inspiring to see how this 38-year-old jumps into the lineup and is like, you know what? I'm just not going to give up any fucking goals. How's that sound?
Here's what it is, your M-Chuck. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chalmers. No? Okay, I'll say my thing. Mike Smith's been at home most of the pandemic, correct, your M-Chuck?
Yeah.
And he'd be around his kids, correct? Mostly? And his wife?
Probably, yeah.
I know for a fact his kids are expertly coached in the game of ice hockey now.
I've heard
and
that,
I think all the time he's spent around his now well-coached kids has had an impact on his game.
Couldn't agree more.
His coach is on this podcast right now, your M-Chuck.
They're not on my team anymore, though. That was last year.
But it takes a year to process, Chalmers.
It does.
Yeah.
All those Chalmers fucking gold you were giving his kids for tips, they didn't just sink in overnight with dad. He had to hear the kids talk about them and shit.
It's a war of attrition.
It's a big difference. Next
They're
year
finally putting it into use. Yeah.
Yeah. Dad absorbed through the kids.
I think on a serious note, when it comes to Mike, that like the beginning of the season was such a weird time for him, right? Like, you know, there's goalie movement. It's pretty evident that Koskinen's number one, but then there's all this goalie movement behind him, and he's injured. And I think like he was seeing like just things so up in the air that he didn't know what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden to come back and play this well. I don't know if you guys caught this at the end of the last game, but when that buzzer went and he got that shutout, he gave one of those 2 fist pumps down, and you know, you could just feel it. It was emotional. Like you could tell that was an emotional win for him to get that shutout, and he was pumped. And so, like, man, I think he's on a different level right now, and I want to see how long it lasts.
And like, I wasn't the biggest fan of bringing him back, but I also, like, there were people on Twitter who were like, he's a fucking AHL goalie. He's a bum. Put him on waivers. And like, that's just not true. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the signing. I thought there might have been some better options out there, but this duo, Smith and Koskinen, was good enough to, you know, they would have gotten us into the playoffs if the pandemic didn't hit. So I think he deserved a bit more of a fair shake from some portions of the fan base and media. And maybe I'm included in that a little bit, but I think he deserved a little bit more credit than maybe he was getting. And it's been a great story so far. And hopefully, like you said, Chalmers, hopefully he keeps this thing up.
Well, and he deserves to, because if he keeps it going, then the media and the fans will go the opposite way, and they'll give him what he deserves. And maybe that'll fuel him to keep going. And it's just that I would like to see that person.
What does he deserve? A 10-year renewal? What do you want?
Absolutely.
Not money. I just want him to get the fanfare. I want the media to talk, you know, I want people to want him again. You know, that AHL goalie kind of shit. That's bullshit.
It's one dickhead on Twitter.
You'd be happy to
go ahead.
You'd be happy to know I wrote him an apology on The Nation on Saturday.
That one dickhead can erase like 10 good comments on Twitter, though. That's the problem with that kind of shit. And so
I agree.
It'd be nice to just get rid of that one dickhead.
Now, your M-Check, I have a question. You said that Smith and Koskinen were playing good prior to the pandemic?
Yes.
What is that? I haven't heard.
Life before the pandemic.
Referring to?
Remember when
pandemic?
Remember when 18,000 people would be on their feet for a Mike Smith shutout? Those were the days.
Yeah, the best.
Yep. Before we keep trucking along here, need to give some love to our friends at twigandberries.ca. We talked about Manscaped and how they'll make
we are all about our listeners' genitals.
Yeah.
In a way, we kind of are, but they'll clean you up at Manscaped, and then
upkeep and the wrapping.
Yeah. the wrapping side of it is just as important, if not more important. You need to look good. And with Twig and Berry's own brand of nutsack underwear, you can look good. They got plenty of different colors on there. Go check them out. They also have their own kind of nutsack sweatpants, which are incredibly comfortable as well. So much apparel, so much good stuff from our friends at Twig and Berry's. No judgment, no shaming, no fancy words, just real men. Check them out, twigandberries.ca. Use the promo code NATION15, and that gets you 15% off at Twig and Berries.
Now that we got your junk all shaved up and you got you some fly ginch, we're going to start selling you defective condoms. Then we're going to start selling you diapers when you have kids in 10 months. Oh,
no. It's going to be a dating service is the next way. Like we got to get sponsored
Bumble.
by an online dating service to try to help, obsessed sports fans who probably don't take enough time to, make
If there was a way for
like
just Oilers fans to date, that's actually a very good idea. You just group people based on sports teams they like.
Well, so dating in the pandemic, it's funny because I'm not going to name any names, but I know I was talking to a guy who went on a date, and I was like, what does a date look like in a pandemic? And he goes, honestly, we went grocery shopping. We went and got her groceries. I was like, okay, was it cool?
So have you always been lame, or is that pandemic related too?
Dude, I don't think before restaurants were opened, what could you do? You go sit outside in minus 20.
You could get a
and
falcon. You could go falcon hunting in a field. Easily done, easily arranged.
I believe that's illegal.
You could get a hot air balloon and get her a hot air balloon, and you could fly.
I don't think they fly in the winter.
No.
You could go grocery shopping. It isn't even on my list. It isn't even.
Yeah, but it's pretty genius.
I think it's smart.
As somebody who in this arena, Chalmers, I can tell you that you have to get creative with weird shit. And going grocery shopping actually isn't. I was expecting weirder than that, to be honest.
Here's the thing about grocery shopping, though, is you probably are leaving a few things off your list. You're probably only buying the things you aren't going to be embarrassed by. You know what I mean?
Band-Aids because of your manscaping gone awry.
Like you really needed some preparation H, and you just, I'll just get that tomorrow.
What kind of groceries, aside from that kind of stuff, but what kind of groceries could you be embarrassed by?
I like the feel of an adult diaper in the night. Your Chuck, it comforts.
If you're a 42-year-old man or woman and you're you buy the 12 pack of Pop-Tarts, people are going to probably start to question if you're a single person and you eat just Pop-Tarts all the time. Who does that?
Chalmers.
Well, I hope she's not eating Pop-Tarts.
Chuck, I'd like you to edit that out of the show. I'd like you to go back and I'd like you to edit that out because I thought about it and I shouldn't say things like that. Can you edit that out of the show, please?
That's not illegal, but you'll say the falcon stuff?
Falcon hunting with a nice egret? That's a wonderful day.
I will add that to my. I will add that one. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to edit it out. I'm just going to put it as one long bleep because the conversation afterwards was funny. But I'll add that to my folder of things Wanye wasn't allowed to say on the podcast.
Yeah, that was a bit much.
I got to tell you, Chalmers, just to in the summer, you have no idea. Last summer, how often I would just go. It was essentially the same thing, just walking dogs with somebody.
That's pretty peaceful, right? There's no pressure. When you're at a restaurant and you got to eat in front of somebody or I've never understood the movie date.
Because then
you go and you sit and you talk for 5 minutes before the movie or 10 minutes, you pay for everything and then you don't talk. And then you guys go home. I guess that silence that is forced upon you might actually make things more comfortable. I don't know. I've never really gotten that. But the restaurant,
I have a dating ratio, Chalmers, I keep in my mind. The fewer words I say, the better.
Yeah.
On a date.
I agree.
So
That's
long stretches of silence. That's my closing strategy.
The less I speak, the less likely I am to fuck things up.
I will say this. If I was forced to date during the pandemic, I don't think I could do virtual dates. I don't think I could just be hey, you want to FaceTime tonight for an hour? That would be too awkward for me.
It is awkward. I can tell you, honestly, I promise you.
I'd be very turned off by the person who keeps looking. When you can tell when somebody's looking at themselves and seeing how
I was trying
to
talk to you about my funny story earlier, Chalmers, and I could tell you weren't even listening, even though we were live on the air in a podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least I wasn't looking at myself. That stuff can just throw a guy off. So yeah, I think virtual would suck too.
Yeah, it does suck. I promise you, I've done the FaceTime thing where it's just first of all, you've never met this person outside of just some standard prompts and offering highlight reel versions of yourself on a dating app. So then translating that into a FaceTime call, which can be awkward just at the best of times.
And how do you wrap it up? Like at some point, do you just go like, well, I got to go. It's 9:30. Like how do you end it?
I've literally said, okay, well, I got to go do some other stuff. You just have like, I got some work to do. I got to take my dog out. I got to, whatever. I got to hit the hub. I got some exploring to do.
So speaking of like virtually doing things, we're virtually doing this podcast clearly. Baggedmilk, first time you've ever had your camera off the whole time.
I can't turn it on. It's fucking broken.
What are you, Frank Saravelli? Can't figure
I feel
out
like it right now. I feel like it right now. It keeps saying camera error. So I'm just a black square today.
This thing works a lot better when we can all see each other.
Yes, but we must never put photos of ourselves on the internet. Never.
Wanye's also walked like 12 laps around his house while we've done this podcast.
Yeah, he's a pacer.
I don't know what's going to happen to me, kids, if we're not allowed to leave our houses soon. I might have to have more children. I'm very.
Remember when you said back in the day how you used to love, like you just said, oh, what was pre-pandemic hockey like? It was 18,000 screaming fans.
Yeah.
I heard from a very, very legitimate source that most of the music festivals that are popular are being called off for this summer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so is this setting up for like a Coachella that just blows the roof off of when everybody's allowed to come back? Are they just going to be like the
Coachella 2022?
But it's all going to be seniors that are vaccinated and they're going to fucking get down.
Could you imagine? Like, wouldn't you, if you were just because the music industry's changed so much that now like 80 to 90% of a band's revenue is from touring. They used to make a CD so that they could go but they'd have to go on tour, but they'd make all their money off of the album sales. But now, like, that's obviously been taken away from them with streaming services. And so it's kind of switched, they make an album so they can go out and tour. And like touring's been taken away from them. Don't you think that when they're finally able to come back, like the first music festival, guys are just gonna be like, I'm playing. And it's gonna be like the biggest bands in the world are just gonna
like every band will reunite, Chalmers. Tupac, who needs money, will come out of having faked his death to headline it and shit.
I'll bet you it's in the works right now. I'll bet you that music festival is being planned right now. I don't know when it's like, there's got to be somebody out there called the after COVID.
Tupac was like in Cuba doing some job, like just working 9 to 5, and he lost his job because of the pandemic and was like, fuck it, I'm going back to music.
Like, I need that money. Oh boy. Speaking of incredible guests.
Your baby?
Look at this.
Oh, look at the little baby.
Look at him.
Little Wanye.
He just rolled in. He has to go around in a baby carrier with like a coat on it because it's so cold.
Yeah, it's got. Oh man, those things are the best. They cover the whole thing, and then you can zip it up. You can zip them right up in it.
It's almost like you don't have a baby in there at all.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Wait, there you go. This is good for the social media content.
Look at his little face. Look at him. Hello, little buddy.
Adorable. All right. Well, we are getting close to the end of this podcast. So Wanye has a child in tow. So I feel like this is a good spot to end it. We didn't get to our.
No, not listener profile, but we need to talk about the game tonight. What are the props you guys are going with? McDavid's at 3.5 shots.
That's my pregame podcast bet of the game.
Over 3.5 shots?
Over 3.5 shots, paying
it's
plus,
a great value at plus 116.
He had 7 last game. Last time they played the Jets, he had 5 shots on goal, I believe. So, absolutely taking that. Tempted to go Oilers first period just because I kind of like doing that. And I think I'm going to go Nugent Hopkins to score a goal as well.
The Nugent Hopkins to score a goal is a plus. Oh, that's total goals over. Will or will not score. Ryan Nugent Hopkins is a plus 200.
Also, just another thing for the game here. I do like the under in this one. I think it's hit. Under is hit in 4 out of the last 5 Oilers games and 4 out of the last 5 Jets games. Smith is playing good. Hellebuck's playing good. I think we could see an under tonight.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this, boys? Risky business, because I like my goal scorer props. I got plus 600 on Jujar today.
Whoa.
Like the thing with Jujar is once he gets on his heaters, they are heaters. But when he's not, he's not. Right now,
he is in the same vein as Neil Pionk, Josh Morrissey, and Tucker Poolman. Those are the guys in and around him.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Turris at a plus 500.
Well, that's because he's playing like.
How about Josh Archibald at a plus 450? He's had a couple where like that McDavid open net where he passed it to him and he paid on that one was a big one.
He's out there almost all the time if the goalie's out. So like Archibald at plus 450.
He's the Sultan of Sync, man.
Yep. A couple other things just around the league. If we're chatting betting to end here, I love Toronto minus a goal and a half tonight against the Sens. Sens going with Hogberg. No way he plays good 2 games in a row. Also, as an underdog, I've been reading that the Panthers might be a good bet today. Plus 135 against the Lightning. Tampa Bay going with Curtis McElhaney between the pipes. So it might be a decent spot for the Panthers, and Leafs minus goal and a half.
I don't know.
I haven't listened to a word you're saying. I've been slow dancing with Wanye Jr. in the kitchen to a song only I can hear in my head. And I haven't heard a word you said.
Makes sense.
Betting.
All right, that's going to do it. Episode 256 of the Real Life Podcast, brought to you by, I'm going to rattle these off here, our friends at Twig and Berries, 15% off with the promo code NATION15. Oodle Noodle, where a proceed of all curbside pickup and in-store proceeds go towards local charities, 14 locations in Edmonton. And also our new friends at Manscaped, where you can go pick up that whole big package. Right now, it's regular $295 for the whole kit. It's down to $159. Then you use the promo code and it drops again. It's only it goes from $159 all the way down to like $125. It's a great deal. Manscaped.com, promo code REAL LIFE. All right, that's going to do it for episode 256 of the Real Life Podcast. Yes.
Your Chuck, look at this baby. Look at this thing.
Yes. That's an adorable baby.
If that doesn't make you want to go grocery shopping with a nice young lady, what does?
Yeah, get some of them defective condoms and keep your Manscaped. You can have one of these too one day.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.